suppose I should maybe offer an explanation, more or less. Just wanted to tap in today, being Friday, otherwise known as Holy Day in Moorish American circles, and that which I do represent, even though I'm not fully there yet. Anyway, I feel like coming to y'all live today with a program named As It Occurs to Me. And this is a special installment because I'm actually trying to focus on Tuesdays being a regular day for me to broadcast. A regular day for me to broadcast will be on Wednesdays. Excuse the static. Making an adjustment to my, there we go. To my microphone screen. The popper. Hopefully the pop doesn't get detected because I have a screen in front now. Any old way, I'm going to get started here in a few minutes. I'm looking at probably at the half-hour mark. If not, you know what? Why don't I just push it out to a quarter till? And I'm going to post something up on the screen to let people know, to let y'all know to that effect what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. And I'm hoping you're well as I get a few things arranged that I'm looking at talking about today, having to do with my view on the Moorish paradigm as it appears to me right now. Still gathering information every day, learning, and I'm narrowing down those that I'm studying from and learning from. I'll get into that in a few minutes. I'll be up in about 15 minutes or so. Well, within 20 minutes, because I'm going to be up at a quarter till the top of the hour. It'll be 3:45 p.m. my time. I'll be up in about 15 minutes. right. Gonna get started here in another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes, I'll get started with the show. As it occurs to me, I don't know, just a bit. I hate saying random, but I'm trying to, Tuesdays are going to be my normal days to broadcast. Tuesdays once a week, but I'm trying to work on a few other days. I'll be up in less than 5 minutes at the 45 point, quarter to. Well, hey, it's Friday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show today. I'm your host, Brother Dolph. Brother Dolph here today for another fine Friday. And I just wanted to touch in on a few things, hopefully that you may find of interest, possibly. It's my goal to spark some interest, generate interest, what have you. So, welcome to the show. Yeah, as I've said, I do plan on Tuesdays being a solid day for me to broadcast, and this is a Friday. I was going to do Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I think one day a week and maybe an optional Friday or something might work out better. Anyway, my whole intention really of the show today was to talk about my path into well, I won't even say I'm fully conscious. I'm aware of what being a Moorish American is. So I consider myself a learning Moor as I'm learning additionally about it. So I categorize myself, if I were to categorize myself, I would say that I'm a learning Moor. That's the reason for the YouTube channel, Learning More Truth, Learning More Chronicles, or Learn More Truth rather. Learning More Chronicles, however I got it. Anyway, as it occurs to me, this is an episode of As It Occurs to Me, certain things that come to my attention, maybe they've come to your attention as well, as I get information all the time. And as I'm was preparing to do this presentation today, and I'm looking on Bloomberg Technology and finding out that the most read articles, and one of them I'm going to cover today, but the most read articles here on the Bloomberg Technology page is that OnlyFans to bar sexually explicit videos starting in October. It sounds like there's a little bit of dismay in my voice, but no. It's just an observation. And the other story that I'm actually going to talk about is Elon Musk unveils humanoid robot to take over boring work. From what I understand, and doing a little bit of background on it, is that his company is constructing humanoid robots to handle mundane tasks. And that's going to leave a lot of people out of a job, really, because especially, well, people in the warehouse sector, the laborers. Well, there are laborers in my family coming up. I guess you have to really get with it now. I mean, there's always been emphasis as of late in recent years with the advent of technology to ensure that you know, if you have kids, make sure they get involved in STEM and such to avoid situations like this, because this is what's happening. A lot of this is happening, and I'm sure it's been covered in books already, like what 1984. Aldous Huxley covered this as well. Writings on the wall, folks. People were being replaced with humanoid robots.
Elon Musk unveils humanoid robot to take over boring work. As Elon Musk stood in the wings at Tesla Incorporated's AI Day, a person dressed in a skin-tight white suit and black helmet did a jerky robot dance across the stage. And with that, Musk flagged a move into a new realm of science fiction, lifelike humanoid robots designed to take the drudgery out of everyday life. The Tesla Bot, a prototype of which should be available next year, is designed to eliminate dangerous, repetitive and boring tasks, like bending over to pick something up, or go to the store for groceries, Musk said. Essentially, in the future, physical work will be a choice. Tesla is arguably the world's biggest robotics company, Musk said. Our cars are basically semi-sentient robots on wheels. The bot was the showstopper of Tesla's AI Day, during which engineers gave highly technical presentations on the company's autonomous driving development work with the goal of recruiting talent to the Palo Alto, California-based company. Develop the next generation of automation, including a general-purpose, bipedal, humanoid robot capable of performing tasks that are unsafe, repetitive or boring, says a job posting on its site. "We are seeking mechanical, electrical, controls and software engineers to help us leverage our AI expertise beyond our vehicle fleet." Musk has a long history of unveiling products that are merely prototypes, essentially selling a vision before it exists in reality. In November 2017, Tesla unveiled its semi-truck at a late-night event near Los Angeles, but that vehicle has been pushed back until 2022 at the earliest, due in part to challenges making larger battery cells. Tesla's stated mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, so a humanoid robot feels a bit like mission creep. Musk didn't outline how robots would fit into the company's clean energy initiatives.
Man, that's a problem. Did you hear the part where it was mentioned about grocery shopping, getting groceries? You know, people are gonna just get even more lazier than they already are. Hey, what's up, man? All right.
Our day kind of ended early, so we were just allowed to
Split.
just go home. So my friend gave me a ride.
Cool.
I was gonna go swimming, and I have a thing for football at 6.
Uh-huh.
But I have a ride to it, so I'm all good.
Okay, cool. Where are you gonna go swimming at anyway?
Mandalay.
All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, Elon Musk is looking to build a humanoid robots, right? And there was talk about them doing your grocery shopping. Say what now? Taking care of mundane tasks. Oh, brother. Yep. Robots are taking over the world, y'all. It's been pretty bleak, been pretty grim.
Elon Musk positioned Tesla as the world leader in artificial intelligence. It was a highly technical presentation across more than 2 hours that outlined the challenges that Tesla faced in developing an autonomous driving system based solely on cameras rather than also including LiDAR and radar like the rest of the autonomous technology industry. The centerpiece was Tesla's own semiconductor, the D1 chip. Executives said that it had the compute power of the best graphics chips. It had the flexibility of the best central processors. And the main question from the audience gathered in Palo Alto was whether Tesla would open source this technology for use by others. This is what Elon Musk had to say.
I'm not sure how to pay for it if it's fully open sourced. Yeah, unless people want to work for free. But I should say that this is, if other car companies want to license it and use it in their cars, that would be cool. This is not intended to be just limited to Tesla cars.
The D1 chip, along with other processors and connectors, is integrated into what Tesla calls its training tile. Blocks of the training tile go into data centers that make up the Dojo supercomputer used to train Tesla's neural network and ultimately achieve full self-driving. There were some surprises as well. We got a robot. Would you expect anything less from Tesla and Elon Musk? Elon Musk said that basically Tesla is training its neural network. It's developing its artificial intelligence capabilities to one.
Hold on a second. Let me show you. I got to share my screen, and I'm going to move that back a little. Move this back just a taste. I want to show you this screen right here. Share my screen because this is actually a video that was video from the news file here. Let me share my screen. 1 second. Need the action music. All right, here we go. Share the screen. Check that out. Bloomberg Technology, by way of Apple, I guess. I actually had an alert to my phone this morning and saw this story, and I thought it'd be something cool to speak on, maybe, or to bring to your attention in case. Well, some of y'all are already fully knowing, I'm aware, possible. You might be already knowing this, you know. But check that out. Look at that. Let me get rid of my name banner real quick. Look at that there. Check that out. All right.
intelligence capabilities to one day make this robot that can essentially replace human labor. The robot can, Musk says, do things as simple as bending over to pick up an object or on command going to the store to buy groceries. But in the meantime, all the focus is on doubling down with data testing, data labeling, and getting as close and as quickly to full self-driving as possible. Ed Ludlow, Bloomberg News, San Francisco.
Man, that's nuts, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. Absolutely out of control, crazy. I mean, it's already bad enough that people can't find basic work, and the work that you do find doesn't pay you enough of anything, right? Man, it's crazy. I have to ask the question, what's the world coming to? Dare I even ask that question? Well, some of you already know. Okay, so yeah, man. Anyway, just to start the show off, just wanted to go over some current affairs real quick. And you know, Elon's taking over the world. Most definitely. We'll kill that part. Let's see here. Now, I was going to get into my path as what I consider to be a learning Moorish American Muslim at that. I mean, there's still some work I have left to do for myself, about myself, and learning more or having increased knowledge or increasing knowledge of self first. And that's my outlook on it. What inspired me to really touch on it was because this morning, you know, as I'm really thinking things over, you know, getting ready to start my day, I saw a presentation from someone that's actually I believe either a Grand Sheikh or someone that's definitely well studied in the Moorish movement. I won't say movement, but in the Moorish society. And they mentioned and drove home quite a few solid points for me to consider. Among those was, you know, it's important that you study and learn about yourself, and that understand that there's not really anybody out here that'll take your hand and guide you along and teach you everything. This knowledge arises from you, and you wind up actually studying and educating yourself. And that is, or was, pretty much the nature of what the Prophet intended, that being Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So what I've tended to consider and realize is this, that as I go about, you know, my day, you know, and I'm reading, I'm comprehending what it is I read and trying to understand the ideology, the methodology, and such, as I'm adapting myself. Hold on a second, let me close that. That was a shock. Sorry about that. Anyway, I left the tab open. As I go about each day, right, and applying myself accordingly, and being subscribed to Noble Drew Ali's teachings, right? Because of everything that he's brought about during his time. So understanding that, I've decided to subscribe to the Moorish Holy Quran, the Moorish American Constitution and Bylaws, Moorish American Literature, and the Moorish American Question. Love you too, man. Have fun. The Moorish American Questionnaire, otherwise known as the 101s. That was my son, by the way. He's heading out for the day. which is typical. He's at that age where he's active doing things. That's great. He's among a group of friends. That's all I could ask. So the Moorish Holy Quran, the Constitution and bylaws, Moorish literature, the Moorish American Questionnaire, otherwise known as the 101s. And those, having read through those, and I won't say I can recite them, but I understand the main idea of those writings and those documents. And it's important to consider these because it's easy to become led astray by others who are within this paradigm. You have those that are in the movement, as it's so called, and they're misrepresenting the intentions of the founder, that being Drew Ali. And what is done, what I've noticed from others out here in society that are claiming to be astute, claiming to be well-studied Moors, if you will, it's fueled my skepticism because there's a number of those out here that are misleading people. They're leading people astray. And that's very problematic because being Moorish American has already been stigmatized. It was even before the 90s, the 1990s, when it was radicalized, there were certain segments within this group, within the Moorish society and the Moorish groups. There were splinter groups that prompted confusion, that did harm to people, serious harm against members of the system that they're really trying to fight, or they've tried to initiate practices in which to fight against the government that occupies these lands. All that has really fueled my skepticism. And for me, it seems that declaring yourself to be a Moor when it's something that's been stigmatized in the press, people don't, the average members of the general public don't really understand what it is. I don't say I understand what it is. I'm learning about it because it has to be around 5 years ago that I've understood or learned about the existence of Moorish Americans as a group. I mean, I had some general awareness of these groups that existed. I heard about Noble Drew Ali, but I hadn't really looked into it that closely until I was able to have some time and commit myself to some studying. Among the first people I ran across actually was Jose Pimenta, Dr. I believe he goes by Doctor Jose Pimenta Bay. I believe he's got a PhD. He's also a college professor. He's also an author. He's also associated with the Moorish Science Temple of America. And seeing some of his presentations that were on videotape from years before helped me to gain increased understanding about what it is to be a Moor, what a Moor actually is, Moor, Mer, etc. Moabites. So as it occurs to me, the path I chose to go down was filled with uncertainty and a certain amount of mystery and some mysticism, because there's some disagreement within the ideology itself. there's some disagreement in how it's interpreted among certain people. And I'm not here speaking badly about Moorish science. I'm not speaking badly about Moorish science at all. I'm speaking about the people that are not really fully representing it the way I believe that Noble Drew Ali intended. It's not being represented, in my opinion, in the way that he intended for it to be represented. So what happens is that there's a lot of division, divisiveness, confusion, confrontation, etc. And what I've also come to notice as well is there's a segment of people that are marketing from it. When I saw a young lady, a photograph of a young lady dressed in a tube top, which is, it's not uncommon. I'm not a prude or anything like that, but they're selling these tube tops. It's just a tube top, right? But on it, it represents the Moorish American flag, or the Moorish flag, and the word Moors across it. So I have to think, not only that, but I've seen folks develop products like headwear, designer headwear, with logos from European fashion houses on it. So for me, it's an added measure of confusion for me to see those types of images being brought out, becoming, I guess, somewhat fashionalized, if you will. And at the same time, those same people, when you bring that up, they tell you that you're not studied. They tell you that you're living your life wrong. And they're quick to tell you that, it all doesn't really matter anyway because I'm generating finance. I understand that we have to subscribe to the times. We have to go with the times, right? To a certain degree. And who's to say that I won't purchase any items like that, especially when it's to support the movement, as long as it's not indecent. I mean, it's not formal. It's not really formal wear or anything like that. But I don't know. It just has me, on the fence. But as I'm going down this path, I've had to dispense of a certain amount of what I had considered to be inflammatory rhetoric. Because again, there's that disagreement part. People are disagreeing with the applicability of certain doctrines, the applicability of treaty law, the applicability of so-called de facto law, falsified codes, colorable law that is considered colorable. And there's only a few instances that I've read about thus far that have refuted colorable laws. However, we all have to each understand that there's a process associated with it, that these things take time. So the Moorish Holy Quran, the Constitution and bylaws, Moorish literature, the 101s. Those are the 4 items in which I'm using to guide my way along this journey to bring me more, added enlightenment, if you will. There's not much else beyond that for me to consider beyond which was intended and prophesized by Noble Drew Ali. As I lay out the core of what is viable foundational knowledge for me in this journey of learning myself. Learning is constant. Discernment is crucial. Focus is required. That's my approach to all this. So yeah, I started viewing a few presentations from Jose Pimenta Bay. Then I will learn about someone described as the master teacher, that being Taj Tariq Bey. And then I'm also hearing conversely that a number of the methodologies and such that are being brought forth and taught actually stem from European contrivances, European intentions. That's why we're having certain issues, or some people are having certain issues with it. Because you hear terms like paper genocide being thrown around. So what I'm starting to lean towards is those 4 items that I've mentioned, and building my knowledge base from that. It's about all I can do. All right, I'm going to take a break, and I notice, I guess I'll go for another few minutes. I didn't want this to be too long. As a matter of fact, I think I might go ahead and curtail it. Do I have anything else? Asking myself. Be right back. Hold on. All right, I'm back. What I find is ironic about everything dealing with this entire Moorish science pursuit, right? Is that when you're trying to break away from the system that you're claiming or that's claimed to be oppressive, the first thing that we do is utilize the language that's existing in the courts, like in propria persona versus pro se. Different terms like that are European and constructed in nature, or that are not necessarily in nature. They're not natural law, right? They're laws that are colorable, right? But we're using that particular language, the language of Rome. So that tells me that in order to go up against the system, you have to know how to decipher and use the contrivances therein in order to, I don't want to say combat like in a physical sense, because it's not that at all, but in order to prevail, you have to know how to navigate within that system itself. I posted something last night that actually had explained or offered an explanation or insight about habeas corpus. Reason why I'm saying that is because there's a group that's identified as the Morocco consulate that filed a writ of habeas corpus on behalf of one of the defendants that got caught up in that matter in Wakefield, Massachusetts on July 4th weekend. From my understanding, they are still in custody, by the way, and the next scheduled court date for all of them, or next hearing date, I believe, isn't for another couple weeks yet. I think around 8th September. Yeah, so another couple weeks yet. And yeah, I went over it last night. Actually, I was using a narration, voice narration, because there was so much to the definition. I just wanted to make clear. I'm probably gonna do that again, but not today, because I'm almost. I didn't want to go very much over an hour. If I did go at an hour today, I just wanted to touch on a few things along my path, and this is going to be the first, hopefully, of starting out and keeping this going. As I post my general disclaimer form up there, just to indicate that this is chiefly my point of view that I'm providing, and this is my show as it occurs to me with Dolph Day on your Friday afternoon. So as we're winding down, I did not want to go over an hour, so I'm going to wind down now and actually end it. Here's all my socials, my social information, if you like it. And thanks for viewing. I really appreciate it. And if you got any comments, suggestions, compliments, hopefully, questions, feel free to hit me up below. And like and share. Let people know that you saw this. I have also a Linktree available. Check that out. I do run a podcast channel, and I'm getting things started. It's kind of a bumpy road, but that's how things go when you're doing something completely new. And hopefully someday I'll be able to show some growth from this as I'm learning more truth. All right. Well, I'll let you go to enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Thank y'all very much for tuning in and catching the show. We'll see you next time. Peace.